Is that the monologue written out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have a lot of actors that do that. It helps them to memorize. Does anyone else do that? Write out the whole scene in longhand? Do you? Okay, good. All right, so let's talk about this. Where did you feel off? Where did you feel off?
I felt off in the beginning
Okay, why did you feel off?
because I just thought about that move in like a second before I did it.
I love the way you started this. I loved it. You made your entrance, and it just was beautiful. How because we got a really strong sense that you weren't really planning on having this conversation. You saw her. It's like, okay, let her have it. Okay, so that was wonderful. Really, really great. I don't think the beginning was off at all. I liked it. Yeah. So where else?
And then let me look at the lines. There's a line that I'm like, how do I say this? The part about the trees and the cherry in the prison way and the Pablo Neruda, I'm like, well,
You feel good there?
yeah.
No?
Like, how do I just stick that in there?
I kind of liked it. I did. I think that worked.
Then you came outside. Choose for yourself. And then? Yeah, in the beginning, and then, the beginning I think I felt was like trying to get my footing.
You had some amazing inner work in this. I really, really like, anytime I talk about inner work, I talk about your emotional life. It was really, really great. And again, as I said earlier, it's amazing how you're able to just transform yourself. This is so different from Mrs. Maisel, just physically and emotionally, just the whole character is just very, very different. So you should feel really, really good about this. I really only have one note for you, and it is this the first monologue you've done in here?
Yes.
Okay. And this is for everybody, because I don't know that I've ever coached an actor in my almost 18 years of coaching that didn't not do this. And it's basically, there's a really big difference between talking to a person and talking at a person.
Oh.
And I felt like you had all of this great, your beats and actions were great, your inner work was really great, but I didn't feel like you were talking to her. And here's the difference. If we're talking to a person, then their response is important to us. If we're talking to a person, then at the audience, we have to believe that at any moment she's going to say something or she's going to do something. And that's entirely up to you to set that up so it doesn't feel like a monologue. You know what I mean? And I think, too, this is a monologue, and this is important. There are a couple of different kinds of monologues. There are those that are very prepared. A lawyer gives a prepared monologue. They come in front of the jury, ladies and gentlemen. That's been written, it's been rehearsed, it's been practiced. They know what they're going to say. Or somebody like the monologue from Wall Street, where the CEO gets up and he talks to the stockholders. That's something he's prepared. This is not. Okay, she walks in, sees the girl. Okay, here's my opportunity. So if your monologue is not a prepared monologue, then that gives you sort of the luxury of fumbling just a little bit. I mean, we need to get a stronger sense that you're making this up as you go along. Okay. But the main thing is, I really want to feel that at any moment this woman, because you need, in your mind, need to know how she's responding to you.
Okay.
All right, and you can't really count on. I mean, even if this were an actual job, there's no guarantee that your scene partner is ever going to give you anything. If you're actually shooting something, believe it or not, there's not a guarantee that you're going to have a real live actor in front of you. This is the truth when you're on an actual set. And of course different directors work in different ways, but in general they'll get the master shot. That's where all the actors, everyone's included, and then it's like, okay, we're going to get over your shoulder and get her reaction, and then we're going to get over her shoulder and get your reaction. We might get a two shot up a little bit closer, but believe it or not, every now and then, if it's your coverage and this person's not in the scene at all, it's not uncommon for even the director or somebody to say, okay, why don't you go take a break? And that person leaves. And so then you're there just talking to the script girl. I think it's bad form, quite frankly, and if you're ever in the position where you have that choice to, you know, stay and give your scene partner something or leave, stay in the scene. You know, there's a really great story of Tom Hanks, and it gives you an idea why he's Tom Hanks, and he's had the career that he's had. He was doing a film years ago called Road to Perdition. Has anyone seen Road to? It was a great movie, beautiful movie. Paul Newman was in it, and Daniel Craig was in it, and Sam Mendes directed it. He directed American Beauty. And there's a scene that's, I don't know, maybe 20 people at this long-ass conference table. And for whatever reason, they decided to get Tom Hanks coverage at night. You would think because he's a star, they'd get him first, but they didn't. So for the majority of the day, and it was a long-ass day, he wasn't in any of the scenes, but he was on set. And I think, I don't know, it was a reporter or somebody came up to him later and they said, okay, you've been sitting on this set all day and you haven't been in any of the scenes. Why are you doing that? He says, because I know everyone else is going to show up bigger if I'm here. And the movie was that important to him. He was that gracious enough and that, you know, just generous enough to know that he was going to, just by being there, he was going to make everybody bigger. So I felt like you had the right substitution, but don't be afraid to commit to the vulnerability of needing that response. Because, you know, it was so interesting, once the scene was over, you were even more vulnerable. And I don't know how that happened or why, but let's see a little bit more of that in the scene. And I think if you allow yourself to need that person more, it's going to be there.
Got it.
Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. It's really, really close, Chica. Yeah, I mean, we're like 98% there.
Okay.
Right? And those are, they're kind of little notes that are going to make a huge difference. Any questions?
No.
All right, I like it. And then you've got Francis next week too with Jasmine.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on. Thank you, Imani.